Okay, go ahead.
Hello again and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel. Today we're going to do a little budget hot rodding. Okay, one of the most important things you could do when you get an old car is if you're going to do any serious hot rodding, we need to, get a good baseline. Okay, we need to find out how this thing's going to run. Now, the way to do that is, start off with a basic tune-up. We're going to start with the plugs today. I'm not going to bother showing you how to change the plug wires because it's one of those things, if you can't remove this and then match it up to the one in the kit and put it back on, then you got a problem. Maybe you should not be under here, okay? No offense. Okay, what are you going to need to change your spark plugs? Real simple, real simple. You're going to need a socket wrench. 3/8" drive will do just fine. An extension, maybe a swivel, and you're going to need a spark plug socket. Now these are specifically designed for spark plugs. Most of the time when you get them, they'll have like a rubber insert in there. If you like that in there, leave it. But me, first thing I usually do when I go to use one of these is I take them out. To me, they're just a hindrance. Yeah, and that's what they look like. And I just reached in and wrestled with it and pulled it out. Okay, the next thing you're going to need is a way to gap the spark plugs. Now I know most spark plugs today come pre-gapped, but it's not their fault. It comes, the spark plugs will get banged around in shipping, putting them on the shelf and everything else. So even though they're pre-gapped, you can't trust that. And I've seen that happen quite a few times. With Project Beauty, we actually had that problem where they said, well, they're pre-gapped, you don't have to mess with them. And I'm like, yeah, right, buddy. And sure enough, I checked the gap and they were off. Okay, now, the inline 250 from Ford from 1975 calls for a 44-degree gap. But that's not what we're going to do today. We're going to gap them at 50, okay? So, how do we gap them? Well, a lot of people will go out and buy these. I don't like these, okay? These are bad. These are evil, especially if you run platinum tip plugs, okay? These are evil. I don't even know why I have this. We're going to get that out of there. No, get yourself a feeler gauge. You'll pay a few more dollars, but trust me, this is an investment that you should make. And all you got to do is put the size blades that you want, all right, in place, and you're good to go, okay? And evidently the neighbors are arguing. Okay, you take and slide the tool in and you get it at the gap that you want, okay? And then once those are in play, once you get the gap that you want, work with it a little bit, okay? And that'll be about a 50-degree gap, which is just fine by me. Even though the factory call, and I know some of you purists out there, why the heck are you putting a wider gap? Wider gap, hotter spark, better fuel economy, and a little bit more performance. It's not going to be a big kick in the pants, but it's going to be a better improvement. Okay, remove the plug wire, but do not, if you're changing the plug wires too, do not take it away from the distributor, because then you'll have to remember the time, the firing order off the distributor. Okay, so we're just going to pull that aside. We're not changing plug wires today. We're just doing this. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, right, guys? All you people out there, it's been like that for 1,000 years or so. Okay, breaker loose. And just like that, comes right out. Now, if you've got a newer car, you're going to need swivels, and it's going to be so much fun getting into them. But this is one of the reasons why I love the old cars. There's very little to get in the way, and since this one does not have air conditioning, thank God, it's very easy to get to everything. Now, just like that, it's loose, and I should just be able to reach in and take it right out. And that is a bad looking plug. Look at that, guys. Okay.
Focus camera.
All right, there we go. And see, this is why we change our spark plugs. Look at that. That is horrible. Okay, and I'm expecting this engine to run good with a plug that looks like that. And for you those new car owners, and you sit there and say, my car gets great fuel economy, I don't have to do tune-ups very often, and you're okay with them looking like this on the inside of your engine, and you expect to get good fuel economy, I'll save that for an episode of In Your Face.
Why is it red like that?
Why is it red like that? There could be any number of reasons. Honestly, I've never understood why some of them turn red. Now, I know if they're black, it's getting too much gas.
Yeah.
Okay. It could be any number of reasons. I've never understood the red one, though. I've never understood the red color. Okay. Back in with the new one that we just gapped. Okay. And be real gentle like, because this is ceramic and you're putting a new one in. So if you're taking it out and you break it, it ain't nothing. But if you're putting it back in and you break it, well, that's a different story. Okay, so do be a little gentle. And whatever you do, don't cross thread it. You'll mess up the threads on the head. Okay? Once you get it in good distance, you can kind of tighten it with your extension and your socket. And then once it's in a good distance, and it's good and snug, you'll need to tighten it down. Don't forget, swap it over, because I have done that numerous times.
Why won't it go in?
Hey, why is it backing out? Oh, shoot. Okay, and you get good and tight. You don't want to leave it. You don't want to leave it where it basically tries to back out, because then you'll be losing compression. Okay? Because that goes directly down inside the combustion chamber. And if you're losing compression, you're losing power. Okay, she's good and snug. Now we're going to grab our plug wire and reinstall. That's it. And make sure that thing fits down on there. And if you've got good plug wires, you'll hear it kind of click sometimes. Okay? If you pull it, it gives a little resistance, just like that. Now I got another 5 more to go. But it's worth it. Trust me, you would be amazed how much better a vehicle will run. Okay, again, get out a new spark plug. The old one, get it out of the way. We don't want it going back in. We don't want that plug. That is a dirty plug. Brand new, okay? And these are just Motorcraft. These are just what would have came from the factory. I tried to get platinums for it, and those are special order. Okay, gently wrestle it in, get it at the gap that you want. Okay, and once again, we're right at that 50-degree gap. All right, so we're going to set this aside now. Okay, and again, don't forget, flip it the other way. You'll be over tightening, you'll break something, especially if you got aluminum heads in a new vehicle. Okay. And if they've been in there a while, they'll be a little hard to wrestle out, like this one. You might have to change positions or whatever. Newer vehicles, well, have fun with that, fellas.
One of those more power to yous kind of thing, huh?
Yeah. And if you can do it, and you're a great mechanic at it, great. Boy, that is in there now. And that's some of the things that you're going to deal with old cars. They're going to fight with you, and that's okay. That is perfectly okay. Now, if that does become an issue and you've got enough room, show you all something really cool. Right about now, I wish I had a breaker bar, because that is in there. Get it closer if you can, which I might just be able to do that. Why
get it closer?
Why get it closer? Okay, well, that's a good question. All right. And my wife, I asked her to jump in from time to time with questions. What this will actually do is allow for me to have more leverage. Remember, the longer your extensions are, or the smaller your socket wrench is, the less leverage you have. Okay? And I also want you to all to remember 2 things. Number 1, I have had a stroke about 6 years ago, so I don't have the strength I used to. So I have to think outside the box. I have to think a little harder. And 2, I will not let you all just see me. I can't really get it close enough or in a spot where I can just do that, which that's okay. Just means I'm going to have to finagle and wrestle with it a little bit more. From time to time, actually I do have a breaker bar. I just didn't think about it. From time to time, in the automotive world, you have to think outside the box. And y'all are about to see that. What I'm going to do, basically, I'm going to find one of my other spark plug wrenches. Then I'm going to take a couple of extensions. And in a situation like this, y'all are about to say, well, that's pretty dang smart. Well, let's see. And I will need... Oh, that's way too big. What the heck am I thinking? I'm getting blind, honey.
Oh, no.
But y'all figure out what I'm about to do. And, you know, this is, once again, you know, from time to time, you got to think outside the box. And that is okay. All my extensions are coming up missing. I need to blame somebody for that.
You can blame me if you want.
Yeah, I'll do that
Because
later.
they're probably in my toolbox.
Probably. What do you do? What do you do? Okay. And basically, I just made a makeshift breaker bar. And hopefully this works. And I will not cut away to edit. I want y'all to see my struggles too. And the reason being is because if you see my struggles and you see me have to fight and wrestle, you'll know what to do when it comes time for you. Okay? And see, just like that, I made my own breaker bar. And
You're beating up your air filter thing.
I ain't worried about that. Eventually it's gonna go away. And just like that. See? And there again. And you can see the rust on it. These plugs have been in there a long time.
Hey, that might be why it's red. It's actual rust.
Very well could be. Very well could be. I smashed my hand.
Oh no, are you okay?
Yeah, it stung, but I'll be all right. Ain't nothing.
It's cold,
Okay.
so it's gonna hurt more.
Yeah, ain't nothing. Okay, and again, here we go again. Take your plug, brand new. Be sure not to cross thread. I can't repeat that enough. I've done that in the past and screwed up brand new plugs. Okay? And some of you might be thinking, well, it's kind of boring. Well, trust me, it's more fun when you're doing it to your own car. This is just an educational sort of thing. And if you're trying to be green, if you're one of those tree-hugging hippies, or think that you are, do me a favor. New car, old car, I don't care. I don't care what year your vehicle is. Change these every 6 months. Do them once in the spring and once in the fall. Okay? And if you can't do that, you are not as green as you say you are. Okay? And I don't care what the manufacturers say. Okay? Because I'm going to tell y'all a little something I'm going to save it for an in-your-face video about old cars and gas consumption. Make sure that's good and snug. And there we are. That plug's been changed. 4 more to go. But I'm going to have a happy surprise for all of you on that end, on the last plug. Y'all are going to see something that's going to make all of you men jealous. Okay? And that's just the plug. You know, here we go again. Here we go again. All right, slip it in. Now, if you start to run into issues where you don't have a whole lot of room, once again, see there again. Okay, take my makeshift breaker bar and just like that, popped her loose. And who knows how long these have been in place. Now, I promise you, you do this a couple of times, and it gets easier every time. You do it. And the longer these plugs are in there, the harder they are to break loose, you know, all those things. Maintain your vehicles, please. You can't maintain a vehicle, you have no business on the road. Okay, this is just general maintenance stuff. We're just, once again, doing some simple hot rodding stuff included with simple maintenance. Now, I will give you a warning. If you have a modern fuel-injected vehicle, you cannot gap your spark plugs wider than what the factory calls for. The computer in it won't allow it. Carbureted engines, we can pretty well play around with that gap a little bit. I wouldn't go any more wider than 10 degrees wider than what the factory calls for, and we're really only doing 5, maybe 6. I don't remember. 44, yeah, it's 6. So there you have it. I mean, once again, brand new plug. There you go. And it's real easy. Really easy. Just slide your feeler gauge up under. And just like that. And actually, I want to wait on that. And just like that. Funniest part about this video is that you know how many mechanics are going to lose money over me showing people how to... That's hilarious.
I guess I shouldn't be ripping people off.
Yep. And snug again.
Oh, that was quick.
Yep. I'm getting warmed up at it. Now it's going to be like clockwork for the most part. And once you get warmed up, it's not so bad. And see, pretty much from here, it's just...
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, pretty much. Now that I have to use my makeshift breaker bar for that one. Again, those threads are rusted. Old cars and rust, like death and taxes. Look at that. Horrible. Plugs have been in there probably I'm probably looking at... No, they've been changed. That's not the originals. That's not the originals. At least it doesn't look like it. It's original style, but it's not the originals. And here we go again.
I'm not a very good camera person.
Well, I'm do-it-yourself videos for YouTube. And it's like that. That one was actually it was pretty... There we go. I didn't feel like it was on there, but it was. And again. And let's see, where did I throw that plug wire?
It could be anywhere.
Oh, there it is.
Right in plain sight.
Right in plain sight. Oh, there we go. Guess I should just put it where I can catch it, you know, that sort of thing. And good old YouTube video. And it's okay to grunt when you do this, because the neighbors don't know what you're doing. They'll think you're having sex with your car.
Oh, God. That's disgusting.
Oh, man.
That brings hot rodding to a whole new level.
You betcha. And that's loving your car. And again, look at that. That's nasty. Yeah. That's
Gross,
horrible. Yeah. And plug. See again, wasn't gapped like they said it was.
Liars.
Well, that happens. Shipping and packaging and everything else like that, you know, you're going to get banged around. And you can't go by that because these are pre-gapped. And it's not the people that sold them to me. It's not their fault. They, you know, the manufacturer says, yeah, they're pre-gapped. It's not their fault. They just went by what the manufacturer said.
You think the manufacturers would be smart enough to realize that if you can work on your own car, you'd be smart enough to realize that bumping happens in shipping.
Well, and see, that's why we have that information about how to gap them.
Oh, you got that one on quick.
Yep. Now, for all of you who are watching this video right now, we're going to switch spots. And now I'm going to make some. Now I'm going to make some men and women mad. Okay. Yep. If you can get just wherever you can get to it, it might be easier if you get it from the front. There you go.
Where's the last one? Right here?
Yep. My YouTube channel. My neighbors actually come out and joined us. One of the cool things about working on the old cars is your neighbors will come out and hang with you. It's kind of nice. A good way to get the barbecue started. But it might be too cold for that today.
Bonfire right now.
There you go. Now, for those of you who don't know what's happening right now, that's actually my wife right now who's doing this. So any of you ladies out there that says, I don't know anything about cars, you're actually watching a woman do this. So that whole crap, well, that's a guy's job. You know, well, I don't need to know anything like that. Guess what? You're about to get schooled on this. Honey, that's right.
Okay, thank you. I'm not good with left and right.
That's okay. Actually, it's marked on that socket wrench that you got
Is it
there.
really? Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's helpful.
And if you need it, don't forget the breaker bar.
Yeah.
And she actually did this with with Project Beauty. She actually did this. You might want to move to the front so you can get a good pull.
You think that would be easier for me?
I think it would be.
'Cause I'm freaking short.
No, that's okay. And eventually she would have thought to do this herself. But guess what? And bear in mind, without getting my wife in my wife's face in the video, she is not a very tall person. Okay. Keep turning.
The abuse.
Well, that's okay. I don't mind short. Short is okay. Means you're compact. You're an economy car.
Really? Did you just do that?
I just totally did that.
Here, you wanted to see it.
Yeah, and there
These are
again.
warm still.
Well, yeah, we had the car running earlier.
Yeah, I know.
Hang on.
This is the one I just gapped.
Okay, that's one you just gapped.
Oh, the last one.
Don't forget to push on that button.
Oh, the button goes up?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, now I'm sure there's a lot of men right now who's angry as heck. My wife just changed the spark plug on this car. Okay, now the fun part. Let's move everything out of the way and let's hit the key and see how it runs. That's always the real test to see if it worked. All right. If I can remember where I put those keys. Right there.
love a happy ending.
All right, folks, that's how easy it is to change your spark plugs. All right, that brings us to the end of this video. Budget hot rodding. Like if you would, subscribe if you would. Sooner you do this, sooner you can see more stuff like this, and maybe even see my wife do more stuff like this. And with all that being said, if nobody's told you that they love you, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24th. Thank you.